Yeah, I like to call it feedback. I don't call it failure. I call it feedback. Because you can look at it, what you did, then how can I do that better? How can I do it differently? That's feedback to me. And you're always going to encounter those situations where nothing is ideal, nothing's going to go your way, and you're going to take losses, like you are lessons, however you want to take it, it's how you choose to look at it. But you're only a failure when you don't try again, or you don't try something different, or you don't learn from what happened. You continue to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. That's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing, expecting a different result.
What's up, everybody? This is Abby here. We're here with another episode of Modern Day Unicorns. Today, I have Mr. Keith Pough, and he is a phenomenal person who's doing many, many things. So, I don't like to tell people's business, but I'm going to let them tell it to you. So, Keith, Mr. K. Pough, tell us about yourself, where you're from, what you up to.
Thank you for having me first and foremost. It's been a long time. I appreciate you reaching out and reconnecting. I'm a small town country boy from South Carolina. I'm from a small city, one stoplight, one gas station, one grocery store. It's no road lights, no street lights. It's none of that. Like, I'm literally from the backwoods. I've been fortunate to experience different things in life and have people help me get to where I want to be and beyond where I wanted to be. I'm a graduate of Howard University, and I was able to do some amazing things while at Howard, meet some amazing people, make some amazing connections and network. And right now I'm the assistant director of basketball performance at the University of Maryland. And, it's been a thrill and a pleasure to actually be in this role, being that my background is football. I played football I've known football all my life. I played football since I was 6. I retired at the age of 26, and basketball was a different world for me. I was familiar with the game, but I didn't know the nuances of the game. And so I was willing to take a chance and bet on myself. And, I took a risk at, diving into the unknown and not fully knowing anything and humbling myself and being willing to learn. And it's paid off greatly for me. And I'm continuing to learn and taking that day one approach, day one mentality, and just doing simple better. My daily mantra is less but better. And that's where I am, and that's kind of how I operate on the day-to-day in all of my endeavors. Just how can I be 1% better every day? And relationally, financially, socially, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically. What can I do to, get better? Because that's what life is about for me.
So we could tell already that we're going to have a rich conversation just with that introduction. So, there's so much to unpack within that. And so I appreciate all of the interest, all of the concepts that you've already brought out, in saying that, you're an athlete, you went to a prestigious college and you did a lot of things. You had some wonderful opportunities in your career. I went ahead and looked at your LinkedIn before I spoke to you, made sure I was, abreast of the things that you've
Don't
been
believe
into.
None of that. All of that. That's fabrication.
Listen. Either way, your LinkedIn profile saying that you did some awesome things, and so that's great. So let's take it back. Let's take it back to sports from all the way back when you were 6 years old, right? What did initially spark your interest? Because that has, that gave you the platform that you're on now, taking the sports route and having that in your life today.
In my household, it was either you do housework or you play some kind of sport. And I didn't want to be home. As a child, as a kid, I was born into football. Like everybody I knew played football, played some kind of sport. So sports was a non-negotiable. It was either basketball, football, baseball, and I played all sports. I never ran track. I ran track in like middle school, high school, but I never had a liking for track because I couldn't grasp the concept of just running for no reason. Like there's no tangible goal at the end aside from like saying that you won. Nobody chasing you. Like I just didn't, it just didn't click. It didn't click for me. But football, I was born into football. My father was a coach. My uncle was a coach. My uncle played, my god brother played, like everybody I knew played, like some of the guys that I looked up to, everybody like in my neighborhood played football, and sport was an outlet for me. It was fun, it was passionate, it allowed me to grow and develop over the years, and so I've been fortunate to play the game for longer than most people have been allowed to even put cleats on or put shoulder pads on. I can remember actually lying on my application because I didn't want to play flag football. So I think the age at the time was like you had to be 7 to play, and at the time I was like 5 I was like 5 going to 6, but I was a little larger than like the average 5-6-year-old. So we kind of embellished the application a little bit, and I was able to play tackle football earlier than expected, and that journey has been amazing. Now that I think about it, just like where I came from, like as being like an offensive player and growing into someone who played defense. Like it's a different mindset, different mentality. And that's I don't know if we got time, but that's a long story.
I mean, I got as much time as you got. So, like my nephew, he's about to turn 10 in December. He just started playing football. His dad played football and all that stuff. So it's great to see, kind of what sports can do for people. Right. Unfortunately for me, I didn't grow into a very large person. Right. So sports I just had to be around it. I had to just work around it. Playing actually didn't work out too great for me, but I realized all of the wonderful things that sports can do and leading. So we'll skip past the 6, 7, but it gave you a college scholarship. Did you get a full ride?
I got a full ride. The irony of all that is it's funny you mentioned size, because football at the time in high school wasn't in the cards for me. Like I was not fast, I was not strong. I had great hands. I actually played receiver. I was like 5'8" from 9th grade until like my 11th grade year. Going into my 11th grade season, and then like that summer I hit like a growth spurt, and I got to like 6 foot out of nowhere. My father's 5'9", my mother's 5'7", so we had no idea where the height came from. And I transferred schools, and I just wanted to play receiver. I didn't really want any parts of contact. I didn't really want to get hit. And at the time, I was playing safety, and we had a guy, Robert. He kept getting in like scuffles during the scrimmage. And so my father, being a defensive coordinator, told him to get on the bus because like he was just there was no need for the antics that he was like. It was just unsportsmanlike, and so he put me at outside linebacker. And I'm gonna try to make it concise. He put me at outside linebacker, and the team we were playing just kept running up the middle. So he moved me to middle linebacker. And I was able to make a couple plays here and there. And the defining moment of me playing linebacker or playing defense was like, they had like, we were playing Bluffton. The scrimmage was against Bluffton. They had like a kid who was like 6'8", like 270. In high school, that's absurd. That's like a grown man, pretty much. And so they throw him like a tunnel screen. It was like he split way out near the sideline, and the quarterback just turns from under the center and throws it to him. And before I know it, I just like react, and I run over, and I like literally close my eyes and just launch my body into him, and I hear everybody screaming. So I roll over. I'm like, bro, he done scored a touchdown. It's like I know I missed him, and I look up, and he's on the ground, and everybody's screaming, and I'm getting like dog piled, and like people slapping my helmet, and so I'm like, I'm still kind of in a daze because it was just reaction for me. It wasn't something that I thought about. And like that next Monday we come in, and my pops was like, hey, what do you think about playing linebacker? And I was like, I mean, I guess I don't got no choice now. And so from there, it just kind of, I got a taste, like my first little taste of blood, and it became addicting. Like I wanted like that contact. I wanted to hit. It became like it was like a drug for me. And the next summer, like I was still skinny. I went from short and chubby to like tall, like kind of like stretched out a little bit. I was still skinny, maybe like 170, 180 maybe at like 6 feet. And then like my going into my senior year, hit like another little growth spurt, got like 2 or 3 inches, gained to like 10 pounds, 15 pounds, something like that. So I'm like 205. And I remember the teams that we played against the year before, they would see me and be like, yo, this is a creative player. Like, everybody was like, what you taking? Like, you got to be taking something. I was like, nah, bro. Like, I just work out and I hit a growth spurt. And so, I sent me and my father, we sent my highlight tape to every team on the East Coast, like just about every team Midwest, anybody who would take my highlight tape. But I knew I always wanted to go to HBCU. We're right outside of Owensboro, South Carolina, where South Carolina State is. And we would go to those games religiously every Saturday because my cousin played, my godbrother played, my uncle played. Like, we were just, Willie Jeffries is a phenomenal coach, a Black College Hall of Famer. He coached there, and we would just go to the games, and I enjoyed the atmosphere, the environment of like just being there, like, and hearing Nuck If You Buck on third down, or like Pastor Troy, or like, vice versa, like hearing stuff that you listen to on the radio. And it was just a great environment, the tailgate, the smell of fish, like just like the love, the support that you got, like after the game, during the game, whatever. And I took a visit to Howard University. Now, I'm country as they come. I'm from literally the backwoods. So Howard was a different dynamic from me. Like, it was the polar opposite of what I was used to. Like, seeing so many affluent Black people in one space at one time. And Howard really put his hooks in me on the visit. And couple of my teammates, former teammates, guys that I played with and played against, they were on a visit as well. And we go to this show in Crampton Auditorium, and it's like that Friday night, and like it was just mind blowing. Just like the ambiance, like the feel, everything was just so rich, so inviting, so warming. And I go back and talk to my parents. I'm like, I want to sign right now. I need to get away from, I want to get away from South Carolina. And that decision probably was one of the best decisions of my life. Like, in making me who I am and refining me, and like, I can still be country, but I could be a more refined version of who I am. Like, you don't have to lose who you are. You just experience different things. And how it made me a man, with the connections that I made, the experiences, both good, bad, and indifferent. I was able to do some amazing things on the football field, off the football field, make great connections. Like, it's amazing. The people that I've met, like I was able to, at the time, rub elbows and fight, sleep, eat with doctors and lawyers and politicians and entertainers and artists and like just people, amazing people, who are doing amazing things, like Jay Murphy out in California. My LB, my line brother, is a lawyer. Like, it's just so many people. Like, I can go down the list of people that I've met and I've been able to keep in contact with, that are doing great things, and how it really changed my life for the better.
I think so. I didn't go to HSBCU. So if you didn't know, my mother is British, right? And so a lot of the HSBCU culture and everything like that, I'm oblivious to. Right. I was oblivious to. So one of the things that I can appreciate on the back end of all of this now is the type of accountability that you can get being at HSBCU, like the accountability that we need, not like what the status quo is or what other people expect from us, but being around, talented individuals who are, Black in a sense, who can say, you're not being yourself, or you need to stop doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I can appreciate, that at that particular environment. And, if I don't change anything, like, life happens the way it happens. But had I been more cognizant of what a HBCU does or is, I would have entertained it a lot more. So I can appreciate the experience that you have and so many other people have as well. So that's wonderful. As we kind of transition, you went to a wonderful college, got a wonderful experience. I'm not going to leave it out. You were a professional athlete. Tell us about that.
That was a great experience. It was a humbling experience. And I say humbling from many different aspects because it's hard to be a nobody when you're somebody. It's hard to go from like being a man on the top of the hill to being someone who's just fighting for a spot. And that in itself was a humbling experience for me, just to like, and they say like at the end of every journey there's a new journey, or at the end of every destination there's a new journey, or whatever, however the phrase is. That was that for me. Going from Howard and becoming, and again, it was just, life is secular. Most things just repeat themselves and come back around in different forms. So coming into Howard, I wasn't a man. I had to work to be the man. Going into the NFL, like, you not the man. You got to work to be the man. And that was probably one of the most difficult times in my life, because I had grown accustomed to being that person. I had to learn how not to be that person and take the ego out of it, take the pride out of it, and just like, you got to work or you got to start all over again. And it was a dream deferred, because I was living my dream. I was on a NFL roster. I was, you know what I'm saying, getting paid handsomely to do what I love. And because of the politics and how things actually turned out, I fell out of love for the actual game itself, because it wasn't what I found when I was 6, 7, 8. Like, it wasn't that anymore. It became truly a 9-to-5, and it became highly political. And so I was probably the most miserable I had ever been in that place. While it was fun, and, you know, I was making decent money, more money than, you know what I'm saying, the average human sees in their life, I just wasn't happy. And I was doing everything in my power to make myself happy, doing what I need to do on a daily basis, and it just didn't work out. And that was another learning lesson. Like, life happens how it happens. And everything happens for a reason. You know, had I not gone through that, I wouldn't be where I am right now. And so I took those lessons and applied them. You know, some people see it as a loss, and I was like, man, I'm a failure. But people remind me, like, bro, you put on the NFL jersey. You was in the locker room, like, you know what I'm saying? You were on the team, like, you were on the roster, like, you went to the NFL Combine. Like, those are monumental feats in and of itself, because they're like 1.6 million high school athletes per year. Only 100,000 get a scholarship to D1. Out of that 100,000, only 200, I think it's like 2,056 make the NFL every year. And so if you look at the numbers, that's like 0.6%. I was, in fact, living my dream, but it wasn't. Everything isn't always what it seems. And again, on that level, I've been able to meet some amazing people who have helped me get to where I am right now. And what I can say is, like, in that moment, I never lost myself. I questioned myself a lot, but I never lost who I truly was. And I showed up every day, and I gave everything I had. So I feel I don't have any regrets about my experience, you know. And people talking about chasing the dream, and, you know what I'm saying, you got to go hard. Like, I did everything I could. You know, I was, after being released, I was doing CFL tryouts, and I remember my father actually had to beg me to go do a tryout because I was like, but I don't really have it in me anymore. Like that passion is gone now. I don't have the love for the game anymore. And I had $20 to my name. And he was like, yo, I had $20 in my bank account. He was like, yo, we gotta do something. And I was like, man, I've exhausted everything I've had. I've exhausted resources. I've exhausted time, energy, love. Like I don't have it anymore. And in that moment, I had to transition. I had to find something different. Like I knew I had to do something different, just because I didn't have that anymore. And that's okay. That's okay. You know, some people, they look at it as quitting or you giving up, but certain things in life happen for you, and you have to make a decision. And in making that decision, you got to make it the right decision. And I knew for a fact that I had lost the love for it. And I didn't think I would find it again, because I gave it everything I had. You know, I gave it. I didn't have anything else to give. Like I didn't have anything else to give to the game of football. Like I played 20 years, so, and that was it.
What I can appreciate about what you're saying is that I want to highlight that dreams can change, right?
Every day. Every day.
You get there and you're like, this is not what I thought it was going to be, and your experiences can change the outcomes that you aspire to have. But then also, like, what we have to realize is that the people, even people close to us, people that care about us, a lot of times, and even now that I'm in my situation, people are truly living vicariously through you.
And that's what was happening, because my father wasn't a great athlete. And he was just a great coach. He was happened to be a great coach. And everything, like, there was no promise for me to even get to the NFL. Like, that was a long shot. Like, that was not even in the cards. But as I started to live it and breathe it, and I got better every day in college. Like, I became obsessive with my work ethic, obsessive with my body, obsessive with the game, like the preparation, everything it took. It separated me from the competition on every level. And so I was able to get to that level. And my father was pushing me because he knew it was my dream. And he knew, like, he was living through me, because I was on the NFL level. And he was able to go to NFL games and cheer me on and be proud of me. But at the same time, he wanted it more than I did. And he wanted it for me more than I did. But it's also like, this is your dream. Your dream is for me to play on this level. Like, my dream is now changing. And the people around you don't understand that. Like, and they can actually thought you in what you were trying to do and make that your identity. Like, no, I can do something else. Like, I can pivot, I can transition, because I don't have it anymore. And again, that goes back to what we was talking about before, like the generation before us. This is what you do. This is your identity. This is you're Bob the carpenter. Like, or you know what I'm saying? You're Sam the technician. Like, this is your life. Like, this is what you do for 30 years, 40 years. And especially at that level, it just doesn't work like that. Like, I remember plenty days, like, a guy would come in and work out at 9 and he would be gone by 12, and you wouldn't see him again. Like, that's how cutthroat it is. Or, you know what I'm saying, you would have breakfast with a guy by 1 o'clock, like you don't see him, like he's gone. And then one day my number was called. It was like, I'm in the meeting that morning, and then like at noon, I'm packing up my car, driving back to Maryland. So, and also they don't have to experience the emotions that you go through with the rejection and the failure. So, and that is another piece in and of itself. Like, they want the dream for you, and they see the hard work and they see the sacrifice, but like, at some point in time, you get tired of being rejected, and you get tired of the discouragement, the disappointment, because it takes a piece of you every time. It just starts to take away from you, and that's when you really lose the love for it. When you're trying your hardest and you have to swallow that pill, like, this might not be for me, and I need you to be okay with that.
I equate your situation to like relationships, right? You ever had a stint where you wasn't in a relationship, and you quote unquote finally get in one. Everybody's so happy that you're with somebody and you have potential and doing whatever the heck they like. They just fantasize the whole situation, but it's a horrible relationship.
Horrible. It's toxic. Like, y'all not compatible. Y'all attracted to one another, but y'all not compatible.
You look good
great,
together,
but y'all cute couple, you know what I'm saying? But behind closed doors, like, we can't even stand to look at each other. You know, and I think people, especially now, people are in love with the optics of a thing, the idea of a thing, and not the actual thing itself, because they don't know how much hard work it actually is to sustain it. Like, it's not what you can start, it's what you can sustain. People do that with diets, people do that with working out. Like, every year, people have New Year's resolutions, and they start on this, like, I'm going to be at the gym every day, you know what I'm saying, for an hour and a half, 2 hours, or I'm going to start this new friends diet or whatever, and they can't sustain it because, one, they don't actually know what they're doing. They're just doing something. Like, they don't really research what they're doing. Two, they're doing too much with too much intensity. They're not thinking about consistency. Consistency is king. Like, how can you do this thing every day for a year? So you start with a goal in mind and then work backwards. If I want to, in a year's time, I want to look like this. How do I plan that out? What does that look like? Right? That's where the consistency comes in. Because if you just start with like, oh, this is day one, I'm going to go, 100 miles an hour day one, 100 miles. And before you know it, you're wearing down. And so that's the approach you have to take with everything. Like, does this actually make sense for me? Like, are we going to take this one day at a time? Like, I need to be true to myself before I can be true to you. I need to know who I am so I can know how I need you to love me or how I need you to treat me and vice versa. But we don't spend time with ourselves. So we don't really know ourselves. We don't want to be in those quiet and dark places because you got to really see yourself for who you are. You're surrounded by so much. You're distracted by so much. You have so much going on that you don't really know who you truly are. And you think you do. But do you really? And it's not until you have an experience in life where you're like, shit, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I want. I know what I don't want, but I don't know what I want. And you don't really know what you want until you sit down with yourself and you have the honest conversation and you look in the mirror and it's like, who am I? How does this make me better? What do I want? What do I truly want? Am I willing to do what it takes to get that?
And it takes difficult situations to get you in that place to accept that conversation with yourself.
Right.
So I thank you so much for that. I wanna discuss your pivot. Mm-hmm. So after you left the NFL, you clearly pivoted to a new career, a new path, a new understanding, a new love for something else. Walk us through kind of like what you pivoted into and how you got to where you are today.
So it was a pivot, but it wasn't like a long shot. I've always had a fascination for anatomy, the human body. Before I knew what it was, biomechanics, kinematics. I was always intrigued by science and how the body worked. And my end goal after I retired, I was like, oh, I'm going to have a 10, 15 year in the league. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to have my own facility. You know what I'm saying? Boom. That reality came a little quicker with less funds. I was like, so how do I really get into this world? How do I kind of dive into what I want to do? Because now I know I don't want to do anything else. Like, I don't want to be in an office. That's just not me. I tried teaching, not in that capacity. Like, it wasn't for me. It just didn't work out. And I interned at the University of Maryland in 2016. I was like, man, I want to try basketball. Not that I want to try basketball. I was like, there's an opportunity for me here. And I was like, well, basketball is new. I'm familiar with football. I think I can make that work. I want to try something new. I want to get into something different. I want to take a risk, take a chance, and step out on faith. I had, and my mindset was like, well, you failed at something that you love. You might as well try this here too, because like it can't be no worse feeling than being rejected 3-4 times in something that you love. So you might as well try this.
I want you to break down really quick before you continue. I want you to break down that word intern. So people can understand what that means.
So intern is some interns are paid, some are not. My position was a non-paid, pretty much labor for experience, labor for exposure, labor for knowledge. Like that's your pay, and so you are really working to gain knowledge and acquire knowledge, and that's what my mindset was. I want to learn. Like I don't really, And then I was fortunate to be in a different situation, but as an intern, you go into it with the mindset of I'm to be seen and not heard, and I just need to work. Whatever you need to do, and I got you. Now, this is coming from someone who has been at the professional level, who's been getting paid handsomely. I wasn't arrogant by any means, but there's still a level of humility there when you have to come in and humble yourself to someone who doesn't have the expertise, someone who hasn't been a professional athlete, someone who hasn't had the experiences that you had, but you have to listen to this person. So that was my experience. I was like, you know what? I know what I'm doing. I know I'm willing to be an intern. I didn't have that opportunity that most people would have when they're 18, 19, 20 because I played football. It's like, this is my opportunity, to kind of reverse the hands of time and just go back and start fresh, start anew. So I interned. It was unpaid. I went in every day, 6 hours a day. I was doing personal training on the side just to supplement, because I still have bills. Like, I need some money coming in at the end of the day. A little gas money, a little play money, whatever. And so I interned for a year, and Brenda Fries, she took a liking to me, my energy. I brought my football energy to the basketball world, which is something that is rarely seen. And I was just me. I was like, man, I gotta be who I am, cause I wasn't my best self, because I was just like depressed and going through the motions and just like, life is life, and I'm gonna just go through life. I was like, I gotta try something different. I gotta get back to who I truly am. And I was able to express myself and be, for the most part, my authentic self. And I had some experiences there where people try to dull your light or dilute your shine. And fortunately for me, I had people higher than those people who was like, no, you need to be yourself. And so, that was a blessing for me. So like, you never dim your light for anybody, because the right people is going to see you shining, and then they're going to make sure that they lift you up instead of putting you under a bushel or trying to kill you out. So I interned for a year, and then after that year, it was like, I gained a lot of knowledge, but I need a job because I need some money. And so I left for a year, and it happened that the person that I interned for, she was let go, and Brenda Fries reached out to me and was like, hey, we love your energy, we want you to come back. And so I did all the things necessary to come back, and I've been here ever since. And I just took a chance on myself. I was willing to take a risk and bet on myself, because I knew if I can get my foot in the door, I'm gonna make it happen. Given the right opportunities, I'm gonna make it happen. And the opportunities don't have to be exact, but I just need the opportunity, right? And I was able to get that opportunity, and here I am going into year 5 of this opportunity as an intern. And for a lot of people, they're afraid to start over, afraid to start from the beginning or start at the bottom. But everybody starts at the bottom at some point in time. The people who are the highest up start at the bottom. And it's okay to start over. Like, there's no harm in starting over. I promise you, there's no harm in starting over.
And that's amazing. Well, even like I just had a conversation with a friend earlier, and she was just like, we can't be afraid to fail.
Can't be afraid to fail.
And failure sucks.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
but it's the perception that we take on it and how we pivot and improve and move forward with it that is going to get us to these new places and heights to where we can experience.
I like to call it feedback.
The happiness.
Yeah, I like to call it feedback. I don't call it failure. I call it feedback. Because you can look at it, what you did, then how can I do that better? How can I do it differently? That's feedback to me. And you're always going to encounter those situations where nothing is ideal, nothing's going to go your way, and you're going to take losses, like you are lessons, however you want to take it, it's how you choose to look at it. But you're only a failure when you don't try again. Like you don't try something different, or you don't learn from what happened. You continue to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. That's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing, expecting a different result. So you can't be afraid to fall short in anything. If you're betting on yourself, or you just doing the absolute best that you can, because that's life. Things are changing. Every day's gonna be different. Your best on Monday is gonna look different from your best on Wednesday, on Friday, or Saturday. But the most important thing is that you give your best. Whatever your best is, you give that every day. Really can't be afraid to put yourself out there, because people are watching you, and some people, they're not even watching what you're doing. They're watching how you respond to it, how you respond to what you're going through. They want to see if you have that resilience. They want to see if you have a little mental fortitude. Like in this day and age, all you need is a little bit of mental toughness to withstand longer than the next person, or withstand, and again, you're gonna make it, because this generation has no mental toughness whatsoever. They are afraid of failure.
Get upset from a tweet, a comment.
Right. Like their emotional control and barrier is so fickle that somebody can say, you should have wore a blue shirt, and they'll go into the depths of hell because it's like, well, I wanted to wear an orange shirt today, and then they just fall apart because mentally it's like they can't govern themselves. But like all you need is just a little more. You wake up with a little more enthusiasm and resilience per day, each day, and over time, you're that much better.
I love it. Now, before I ask you for your tips, as we come to a close, I'm gonna address the elephant in the room, and the elephant is that beard, man. Tell us about your beard and what is. Tell us about your beard.
I guess it's taking on a personality of its own. People
Yes,
don't ask
it
about me
has.
no more. Like, how long have you been growing it, and what do you do to take care of it? And I was like, so. As odd as it seems, just like with everything else, apparently in my life, like I am just about the only person in my family with a beard like this. My father couldn't grow a beard. My granddaddy didn't have a beard. My cousins can't grow beards. Like nobody. My first cousin, he can grow a beard, but it's not as large as this. But nobody in my family can pretty much grow a beard. So. It started in 2014. I was like, I can get a full.
I'm about to say, because I met you before you had the beard.
Yeah, so it started 2014. It was like a low. I had like the 5 o'clock shadow. It could connect, but I didn't know it can grow this large. Like even in college, like I always had to goatee. Like I didn't know I could grow this much. I never tried. So I like, when my beard connected, I'm gonna just let it grow. And one day I just couldn't get to a barber. And I was just like, I'm gonna just line myself up, whatever. And it just started growing. I was like, bro, I'm just let it grow. Just let it grow. And this was like 2015, and it just kept growing and kept growing and kept growing. I didn't know what to do with it. Like I wasn't putting all on or nothing. I wasn't even picking it. It was just growing. And so I cut it like 2016. Cut it. It was super low, but I still had the beard. And then, like, it just kept growing. And then every time I think about cutting it, I get a compliment or something. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just keep it. And then I realized, like, a lot of people can't grow a beard like this. I was like, so I'm going to just keep it for as long as I can. And, now I kind of I take better care of it than I did, but there'll be days where I don't do anything to it, and I really have no secrets for anybody who needs secrets. Like, how do I keep it healthy? Like, I know in order to have like healthy hair, period, it's internal, not external. So it's like what you eat, your water, how you sleep, getting movement, getting active, getting blood flow, because that's really all it is. It's really like the hair on your head, pretty much the same thing. Hydrate, because you can't hydrate your hair from without like putting oils and waters on. Like, you have to hydrate from within. Like, it still operates off water. So, yeah, it's just if people ask that question, to tell somebody like, what did you do to them? Like, I use the same oil you use. It's no special product. I switch from different kind of product, whatever I like. It has to be natural. Like, I don't like a lot of chemical. I like to be as natural as possible. Right now I'm trying this oil by East African Secrets that someone just sent me that I really love now. And I don't know if it really works. I just like how it feels. But yeah, I mix my own oil up. I just put my oils in the little thing, shake it up, and then I just put it. Like, it's no true regimen, so to speak.
I mean, well, it became like a revolution in the past couple of years where, you just got people out of the blue growing all these beards and things like that. So some people got like a whole story for their beard and all that other stuff. But
I don't have no special story. Like, one day I was like, I'm gonna let it grow, and then it's like, all right, I'm gonna just keep it. And I try to make
sure. That's the best part of things. You be like,
I just let it. Some things just happen. And I just let it rock, because ain't no need to cut it. I don't have a reason to. So
I mean, I'm about to say, why not? It's free. Why not just keep it? Well, listen, I appreciate your time thus far. And before I let you go, I have to grab some more knowledge for you, for our listeners. And I just want you to give 3 tips that are on your heart. You can say whatever you want to say. We've gotten a lot from your story already, but anything that you want some people to take away from our conversation today, please go ahead and share that.
I would say be where your feet are. That's just being present in the moment, living on purpose, unjudgmentally, being fully intentional and attentive to what you're doing, who you're with, how you feel, what you're consuming, what's consuming you. Just being present in the moment, because life is fickle, life is fleeting, and living too far in the present, living too far in the future, or too far in the past, you really miss out on the now. And this is the only time that we have to be alive. So be present where you are. Be grateful for what you have, what you've experienced, life experiences, the people that have matriculated in and out your life, the people that have harmed you and helped you, both intentionally and unintentionally, because these are life lessons that you can take on, and you know who to be, who not to be, what to do, what not to do. Everything for honestly and truly is a learning experience. Is a moment to reflect and be grateful. And then the last one, I would probably just say, take care of your body, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, because this is the only place you have to live. And health is the greatest wealth. Like, there's no. It's foolish to chase a bag, and you lose yourself. Then the Bible said, it's foolish to chase silver and gold, and lose your soul. So, and I look at it as being in tune with yourself, mind, body, and spirit, mind, body, and soul, whatever you subscribe to, whoever you pray to. There's a higher being, there's a creator for the created, and you need to show reverence, honor, and respect to that being, that deity, anything that you praise, by taking care of yourself, because we are made in the likeness and image of our creator, whoever you believe your creator to be, and you should in fact take care of yourself before taking care of anyone else, because you can't pour from an empty cup. Make sure that you're replenishing yourself, and that to me, that's all intra and interconnected. with being present, being grateful, and taking care of yourself.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. And as we, draw to a close, I want you to please mention all the places and spaces that people can follow and support you and get, good continuous tips from you and stuff like that. So please share.
So, I'm on Twitter and Instagram. I'm on and off every now and again, just taking care of myself. Like I'll be on for 2 days and then I'll be gone for like 2 months or 6 months. Like I just... I'm nomadic in that sense, but on Twitter you can follow me is it's KPough13, ITSKPOUGH13 on Twitter. Then on Instagram is KPough, KPOUGH. And those are all the social medias that I have. Those are all the social medias that I care to have and I have time for. So if you follow me, please don't feel no type of way if I don't follow you back, if I don't see you, I don't respond to your message in a timely manner. I am honestly in and out of there. So again, but Abby, I appreciate your time. Hopefully something that I said would stick with someone who was listening, and please continue to support Abby and all her endeavors. I believe that this is a great platform for people to talk about their lives and talk about, dreams and dreams deferred and dreams changing, and following your passion, whether it be a hobby, a hustle, or, your day-to-day. And people who are just living their life to the fullest. Because, like I said, life is fleeting, and we need more love, we need more passion, we need more people doing what they love and living intentionally and living in spaces where they are appreciated and they are compensated properly, for all intents and purposes. So thank you for having me. I'm grateful and honored for this opportunity. I know we've been trying to get this to happen for forever, but I'm happy that we were able to get it done, and I truly appreciate this, to me to tell my little story, and hopefully it resonates with the soul out there, just one person.
And it will, and you've done my closing for me, so thank you. But but honestly, if you are a unicorn yourself, or you know anybody that is a unicorn, I'd love to have a conversation with them. So go ahead and DM me or comment below. But this is definitely a space for us to just talk about things that we are doing or things that we have done and how we can come together as a community to support one another. So until next time, I want to thank you. Hey now.
Help somebody.
We'll see you guys.
All right, Abby.